I think it's time for a trip. Hey there, welcome to the Teeny or Tinkers channel. I make ball jointed doll and craft related content. And before we even get started in today's video, I just want to take a minute and say thank you everybody for helping this channel hit 1,000 subscribers. It has been a goal of mine for like literally ever, and I just want to say thank you so much, and I will continue to try and improve and make better content for this channel. As well as my main channel, which hit 10,000 a little while ago, which is also super exciting. So again, thank you. But anyways, you're not here to listen to me ramble about that. You're here for the vlog. So as the title suggests, my office is a mess, ignore. But as the title suggests, we are going to Spain for 10 days. And I'm going to be meeting Hopeful Creation in person for the very first time. And I'm so excited. And I thought it would be fun to take you along with me. Now, it's actually a couple days before we go, but I need to pack things now. And I want to bring a doll, and I want to, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. I can't even. I have to finish Pablo's Hopeful Creations Christmas present, which is almost done. I have to pick a doll or two to bring, because I want to bring a doll or two, but I can't. I want to bring Raven and Edgar, but they're so big and I can only have a carry-on and a personal item, and I don't think it's smart to bring a big doll. So I'm really trying to decide who I bring. My initial thought is to bring like some micros. This is Gail, for example. She's super cute, and I think like her being like very purse-sized, I could carry her around like around the city, and like it would all be good. I don't know if I have a cute wig for her, so I'm like, I really don't want to have to make a wig. I don't have a ton of micros that I would want to bring. I do have a little itty bitty micro Junie I could bring. I wish I had a micro Raven, but she's a little bit taller than Gail. First of all, proof that I am still working on Hollow and Soda Pop and Polly and Fig and Fennel, even though you guys aren't seeing it. I could do a whole other video giving an explanation on why I haven't finished them yet, and then why I've been focusing on like the doll bodies I already have. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll do like all my dolls so far and who's next, why doll planning thing. But anyways, I am up to version 4, or finished version 4 of the Sweetheart body, which is like Hollow and Soda Pop and Fig and Fennel and Polly's body. It's super tiny, okay? I just finished printing this. The hands, I accidentally printed the magnet wrists, and at the scale, it's a mess. Like, they're ridiculous. So I probably will just super glue them on, or like resin them on. But like, she's like a micro too. But I think I could give her a super quick face up and bring her along. I think she'd be very cute, and she's like the right size. And then I could just have like a little pocket with, you know what I mean, like 3 little friends. So I guess I'll clean those up and pack them some tiny clothes, like a tiny wardrobe, and then they can come on this trip. And then I have to go finish Pablo's present. Okay, so when I say a quick face up and fix up, I really do mean it. I wish I had spent more time in hindsight, but I had to super glue on these hands because, again, these were the magnet hands, and I do not have magnets that itty bitty. I gave her a very quick blushing and kind of just scratched her eyebrows and liner on. No plan, just kind of went in for it. It looks okay, but it's not nearly as good as my other micro face-ups, so a little sad about that. I also had to spend like 30 minutes just making clothes for them, and the clothes are not great. I'm gonna be so for real, but everybody had clothes, which was like the most important part, because when I make micros, I usually just make an outfit for that micro and sell it with that micro. I really do want to have more like micro doll clothes on standby for this reason though. All right, so everybody is dressed now. We have Gail. And we have Hollow. I gave her a haircut too. And we have Junie. it is Tuesday morning and we are getting ready to go. So everything's packed except my backpack because it's all my last minute travel-y stuff. So what I'm bringing is, I guess, number one, you, the camera. Number two, I reboxed Pablo's present. My iPad. I'm also going to go grab an extra Apple Pen tip because I think mine's just about done. I've got little knitting needles and some yarn. Oh, that I just stabbed my hands with. And then these little guys, like if I am walking around and I want to bring one in my purse, I don't want to walk around with like just a bag of dolls, then all of these little guys will fit. But see, you can all see them in their little coffin. It's a little dark. But with that, I guess we're pretty much ready to go. So bon voyage to me, I guess. We're off. I didn't include too much of like traveling to Spain here because I don't know, I just didn't know if it would be interesting at all. But here's a little bit of the drive. It was a 4-hour drive to Toronto. This is the Toronto airport. Now, when we took off, like I've never been outside of Canada and the US before this. This is my first time outside of North America at like 32 years old. Also, Air Portugal had this really awesome kids map that like showed different animals. Like if you zoomed in, there was more. But it also showed you flying away from them. So we were just saying goodbye to the Canadian grizzly, which if you ever see a Canadian grizzly, don't waste your time waving goodbye because it will eat you. So 5 a.m. local time, after leaving at 6 p.m. local time, we're landing in Lisbon, Portugal, which was our layover spot. There was this freaking incredible like Portuguese sardines and the store guy was dressed as a ringmaster. Amazing. So then we took off and then landed again. Sorry for the lack of footage, but we were in Madrid for about 10:30 local time. Now this was a couple hours too early to check into our hotel, so we just didn't. We did a little bit of walking around, saw a whole bunch of people in costumes. Like there was so many, like we were calling them Walmart Marios, and they weren't quite right. The Homer Simpson is like especially offensive for how cheesy it looks, I think. But yeah, honestly though, day one was just kind of a messy blur. We got checked into the hotel at about 3 p.m. and fell asleep until about 6 p.m. And it did end up working out though, because then we didn't get back to sleep until I think like 3 a.m. and slept until like 11 a.m. local time, which really kind of mirrors Eastern time hours and worked pretty well. It's day 2 at this point. We woke up, we had some breakfast, we had picked up some groceries the day before, forgot to mention that. We packed up. I brought Gail with me, but I didn't take her out for any pictures this day. I really thought I was going to. She definitely makes an appearance later, so don't worry, she's not stuck in this purse forever, and they're not stuck on this table forever. This was our first big walk around Madrid. And honestly, at this point, we weren't even going into any shops or anything. We didn't even go into any shops. This is Plaza Mayor. So this is like a huge central square in Madrid. I was just taken away by everything at this point, and I hadn't even seen anything yet. The architecture is beautiful. The streets are beautiful. Everything is geared to walking. Like everything is so walkable. Like, I don't know if this is typical of most of Europe or all of Europe, but Canada is so geared to cars, it's painful. And being able to walk to a palace and then to a cathedral, this is the Palace Gardens, by the way, this is the palace, that was like amazing. Like, I think we walked 30,000 steps a day, pretty much every day for this trip, because it was so walkable and it was such a joy to be able to walk around and see things. So we didn't go in the palace because the lineup was actually ridiculous, but we did go inside this cathedral. Now, this cathedral, I know cathedrals aren't everyone's thing, but this one was absolutely astounding. I was here for the architecture. I was here for this little baby that looked like a man. There was a lot of that. I was here for how ornate everything was. At this point, I was thinking, okay, so you're going to see the really, really ornate stuff just in churches or in palaces, but it's everywhere. We didn't have to go into a cathedral to see this, but it was really beautiful to see, especially if you come from a culture that doesn't have like historical architecture. Like this feels like made up, like it feels like storybook stuff. After that, we stopped in at the famous Mercado Sant Miguel, but it was insanely crowded and stressing me out, honestly, so we went and had lunch somewhere else. Now, a note that lunch in Spain is at about 2 or 3 p.m., and then dinner isn't until 10 p.m., which again, big culture shock moment. We finished the day off in Parque El Retiro, which is like, I don't know, maybe like Restful Park or something. Like my Spanish is not 10 out of 10. It's more like 2 out of 10 at this point. The fact that there are monuments from like the 1600s is crazy to me. But because, you know, the Europeans had not colonized Canada quite as early as they had colonized everything else, Canada is only officially around 155 years old as far as colonization, which means that there aren't historical monuments and historical architecture like there is here. We finished off our day at a chocolatier that has been open since the 1700s, and by having tapas with a friend of Mr. Tinker's before heading back to the hotel for the night. Friday morning, and Pablo is going to be here any minute, and I'm so excited. Also, we went to a chocolate shop yesterday that's been open since like 1725, and they had all kinds of like, they had like vegan stuff. I just saw a dude walk by, and I almost had a heart attack because I was like, is that Pablo? I'm very excited. But yes, anxious, nervous, coffee. That's what I need right now is coffee. It's not out there yet, but I'm super excited. Do I just stand at the window and look anxious? I'm so anxious. I did not film Pablo and I's first in-person meeting because I wanted that to be just for us. And we didn't film much this day because we spent the entire day at Parque Europa, and that is its whole own vlog. If you want to check out my main channel, I will have a whole Parque Europa Europe tour vlog to check out. Hey, it's the next day. What a smooth transition that was. Pablo got off the metro, which is like right down the street from our hotel, and we walked around Madrid for a little bit. We had brunch at this place called Freedom Cakes. Now, this is an all-vegan like diner in Madrid, and like, holy crap, I think this might be the best place we ate the entire time, and it was so cheap, and like, oh my god, this was a vegan cheese and ham croissant, and I could not believe it. Like, I could not. It's so good. Now, after brunch, which was around 11 a.m., which made it lunch for me and breakfast for the rest of Spain, I guess, we went to the Light Museum. Yeah, like, I turned and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. So, like, the person beside me, and I was the person beside me.
I'm like, wait, sorry.
I also feel like I'm gonna fall through the floor a little bit.
You think? What if we fall?
Now, this is the only museum we had time to go to, and that's a shame because there are so many beautiful museums in Madrid, but it's okay. We saw so much stuff. But anyways, now we thought it was way bigger than it ended up being, but it made for some fun like photo opportunities and all of that. And we got some really cute photos of us as a group. We got to like look at some art. Do I think this is something I would recommend? Probably not. I would say go to one of the other museums, but it was a fun experience overall, and it was a nice way to kind of warm up after brunch. After this, we took kind of a walk around the other side of Madrid we hadn't really been to, including the Plaza España. We saw this like really amazing fountain. Again, everything is super freaking old and beautiful and well maintained. On the way back to the hotel, we walked down Grand Via and popped into some of the thrift shops and some of the like little market stalls that were set up. I really liked this girl stuff. It was super cute. After thrifting, we stopped in because Pablo insisted we pick up some gazpacho to try, and here's our taste test of that.
Shots, yeah. Gazpacho shots. It smells very garlicky. That's a good thing.
Did you try it?
No, it smells.
Ah, okay. I was like, you didn't wait for everyone. Okay.
Oh, it tastes like.
I love it. The one from Mercadona?
That's good. It tastes like nothing like I thought it was gonna taste.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
It doesn't taste like tomato soup.
No, it
Tastes like
tastes.
cucumbers.
No,
Yeah, it has
fresh. Yeah, but
You don't
I can't think of what it tastes like.
go back to your country.
Oh, well.
I really like it.
Following gazpacho, Pablo went back to visit a friend, and we went out for the evening. Walking around the city at night was really beautiful. I mean, a little less beautiful in this particular shop, where there were all these like handmade pooping sculptures. Kind of a choice. But then we went for dinner at Choose Vegan, I think, or Choose, and it was like kind of a fancy Italian place. It was really good. I don't know what these transitions are, but now at this point it is the Sunday. So this was the Rastro. So Rastro is like the biggest open air flea market. I don't know, in all of Europe for sure. I don't know if like the world, but it was absolutely enormous. I've never been to an outdoor market like this. I've never been to an indoor market like this. Half of it was like, there was like vintage stuff, and then there was like handmade stuff, and then there was some like actual like shops selling stuff. But there was so much to look at, and like I couldn't look at everything. There was no way. We were kind of on the mission for doll stuff, even just to look at, but it took a while to actually find it. But eventually we did kind of find the side of the Rastro that had all the vintage dolls. Now, some of these are terrifying, some of them are adorable, some are absolutely gorgeous. But it was like, at a certain point, every stand had a couple dolls, while very few had like only toys or dolls. There was a lot of like vintage doll furniture, which I would have loved to have been able to bring home, but like that's just not feasible. I don't know what I was looking for. I didn't end up getting any vintage dolls. First of all, being able to bring them home in space was an issue. I almost caved and got one of these mini dioramas though. Okay, following Rastro, we went to this little shop Pablo loves called Sorio Galaxy. And it was a vintage toy store. Like the whole store was like toys from the 90s, 80s, 70s, some early 2000s. But honestly, this was super cool. And it was very cool to see what were toys that were popular in Spain during this time, because there were some that were the same. And I was surprised by what was the same. And then some that were very different. And it was just very cool to kind of see it all in one place. Following this, we went to the Corte Inglés. Now, this is something that I think they're all over Spain and they're known for, but it's basically a department store, but like, I can't even describe how big it is. Like, and there were so many dolls and toys here, and the displays were so pretty. And like, honestly, I could have just been here for hours and hours. Nancy is a doll that Pablo told me pretty much all of Spain hates the redesign. I thought she was kind of okay looking, but, you know, I digress. Now these baby dolls, I think the baby dolls in particular, there were so many cute options. I wish like we'd had like, oh my God, this lamb doll, this little Waldorf looking one. This was halfway through the trip, so I'm going to just pause it here and we're going to pick up the next day for part 2. For now, if you're already subscribed, thanks so much for subscribing. And if you're new here, I hope you like the content and consider subscribing. As always, I hope you have a fantastic day.